Amir, let me get your 1 through 10 draft picks and just walk us through it, bro.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try and be as quick but thorough as possible because I know we all got them. I want to hear y'all's too. I think the first two, well, ultimately what I'll say is this. I think the draft starts at pick 4 because we know that the first 3 are going to be quarterbacks. So irregardless of who's there, depending on how you feel about Fields versus Lance, you know you're going to have to move up to that 5, 6, 4 ideally to try and grab one of those guys that you really want. So with that being said, I have Trevor Lawrence going 1, of course. We got Zach Wilson going 2. And really quick on Trevor Lawrence, it's a no-brainer. I think he came out freshman year and earned the right that he's a prodigy. So I think with Urban Meyer down there, with all the draft picks and money that they have as far as the cap, I think that they're in a position where it's going to take a little bit of time. But I think that division is open, depending, on how the Colts do. We know that Houston's a shit show. 2, Zach Wilson. I think, New York showed their hand early on. I think they really fell in love with how he did this season. It happens every single year. You have a guy who kind of comes out of nowhere, highly performs, does his thing. Arguments can be made on if he really performed super, super well or if he just did good on beating up on bummy teams. He was 1-5 against teams that were considered competitive, had like a 1 touchdown, 5 interception type of ratio. So, I said 1 quarterback in every draft, if you're picking in this high, typically falls and becomes a bust. I think that's mine, unfortunately. I also think culture fit's going to be really big. He came from BYU, born and raised in Utah. He's now going to the largest market opportunity in the country, really in the world. I don't know. And then you're with a rookie head coach. There's a lot there that I just don't know if he's really going to be.
Coming off arguably the worst head coach in history.
Precisely.
For sure.
Yeah, there's a lot there for me to kind of question.
Yeah.
3, to answer your question initially, of who would I pick between Trey Lance and Justin Fields, 49ers go Justin Fields. Resume speaks for itself. Stats speak for themselves. Then Cincinnati Bengals, they go 5 with Penei Sewell. Personally, if you have a top receiver or you have a top lineman, I truly believe that you go with the lineman every single time. In many ways, they went flashy with getting Joe Burrow at number 1 last year. The reason why he's hurt was because you don't have anybody protecting him. It doesn't matter who he can throw to if you have nobody who can guard his blind side. You're in division with the Cleveland Browns, who just got Jadeveon Clowney, and they have Myles Garrett on the other side. You have Pittsburgh that has Watt, and then they have another pass rusher on the other side and a D tackle. I think it's now for you to start putting people around him who can protect him, not only just for him to pass to. That then opens up the Miami Dolphins to go 6. They grab the best receiver, in my opinion, all around, Jamar Chase. Justin Jefferson had a breakout year in the NFL. He was a number 2. You're an LSU fan, Micah. I think you already kind of know what's going on. I had to go back and look at some tape. Bro's a dog. There's no way about it. Miami Dolphins go Jamar Chase at number 6. Here's when it gets kind of spicy.
Okay.
I think the Denver Broncos trade up with the Detroit Lions, and they grab Trey Lance.
Ooh.
Now, looking at Jared Goff's contract, you have 1 more year where you owe him money. Next year, I think his dead cap is reasonable enough for you to kind of let him go. They got a lot of draft capital next year as well, so you can go back and grab one of the top receivers in next year's draft. You can grab another lineman in their draft. You can grab another defensive player. I think at this day and age, if you're not confident in the quarterback that you have to get another one because the league is going to keep going. All these young quarterbacks are coming in. Next year's draft class is horrible, or not as good, I'll say. But
it's horrible like quarterback.
Yeah, there's not too many good quarterbacks next year's draft. You grab one. If you don't like him, you trade him. You can get your draft pick right back. People are going to want Trey Lance. I think he has all the components. He just hasn't played very much for me to say that he should go 3 over Justin Fields. I think number 8, that then allows the Panthers, since they already got their quarterback, who I hope they really give my man Darnold a chance. I think they take Rashawn Slater. Their offensive line is good, not great. I think getting Slater is an automatic grade. I think actually in many ways he's more ready for the NFL than Penei Sewell is in many ways. I think Penei is just more of a raw athlete. I think Slater, you can plug him in at left tackle right now. He'll protect you for years to come. That then goes to number 9. Again, the Lions are now drafting here because they traded with Denver. I think they grabbed Jalen Waddle. I think that if you do keep Jared Goff, you got to put pieces around him. I know they grabbed Bashawn Perryman, and they grabbed Terrell Williams, who was on the Raiders. Those are number 2 and number 3 receivers. I don't think they have a number 1 on the field, on their roster at this point in time. And if you're going to go with Goff, I think you need to put somebody there that he can really trust and grow with. I have Jalen Waddle. I think he's a little bit better or he's a little bit safer of a pick at this point in time than a Devontae Smith, who I still really like. But I think people forget that Jalen Waddle was balling before Smith got his chance to shine. And then finally, number 10, last trade that I have in the top 10, I had the Patriots trading up 5 spots from 15 to 10 with the Dallas Cowboys to draft Mac Jones. I think once Mac gets to fall, I think that this is the point in time where we need to grab somebody who at the very least can be the future of our team. I think in many ways, Jones is more than capable and willing and able and should be a first-round pick. I think that he's shown his ability in many ways, that he's smarter than most of the other guys in the room. I think he's the most NFL ready. And that's why I could kind of understand if the Raiders choose to go with him at 3. But I think the Patriots grab him. You have time for him to develop. You continue to put guys around the rest of the team, and they go there. And now just to give you a little bit more, some might ask, what would the Patriots give up to move up 5 spots? I have them trading the number 96 pick in the 3rd round and Stephon Gilmore.
We said and who?
Stephon Gilmore. So
for Mac?
I think
Mac Jones.
They keep stuff. You trade Stephon Gilmore. You keep the 15th pick. You grab one of the rookie cornerbacks that are already going to be there. You'll have Joe Horn, who will probably still be there. If not, then you'll have Patrick Surtain, who's probably going to be gone. Or you grab Caleb Farley, who's coming off injury, but he was a top cornerback alongside. You have an opportunity to really fall back. You have a bona number 2, number 1 A, B type of cornerback already with his name is slipping my mind.
Jackson.
Second and interception. Yeah, you have Jackson on one side. You then go ahead and grab another cornerback. You grab the defensive back last year. You paid money for defensive backs over free agency. You put a rookie in. I mean, hey, it's either that or you have to re-sign Gilmore because he's already on a 1-year deal. You're only going to pay him $7 million. So why don't you trade him to use him as bait to trade out with a team who needs a cornerback? You then take your future quarterback at 10. You keep your first-round pick, grab another guy. Hopefully Micah Parsons, something like that falls. You grab him. The defense keeps moving. So I don't know. That's what I would like to see, but that's what I got for my top 10.
For sure, not bad. It's some on there that surprised me though. That just surprised me.
For Mac Jones, Gilmore.
Jeez, all right, man. It's on you, E. Because y'all probably gonna hear my list and go, "Wow." It's on you.
I try to keep it as I try to go conservative route because I knew Amir was gonna do some crazy trades between, but I just left it as the lineup as it is right now. But I do believe there's definitely going to be some movement in trades in the draft. But just to keep it consistent for what we're seeing for the lineup right now, I just went with the teams who would go with their best options right now. So obviously, number 1, I think it's without question everybody's going to go with Trevor Lawrence. I think that's the only reason that Urban Meyer actually came out of retirement was for Trevor Lawrence. I think with him, you build your offense around a guy similar to what the Colts did with Andrew Luck. I think he has similar potential, similar ceiling. A guy who's a prototypical quarterback for the new NFL, can has some mobility, can make all the reads, all the throws. I think he would probably be their best option. Number 2, I think it's pretty clear that Zach Wilson's probably going to go number 2 to the Jets. Again, there's some controversy there. I believe Justin Fields should go there, but all of the moves and all the transactions that we've been seeing, I believe that they're going to go with Zach Wilson because of the arm talent. I think of his ability from his previous season. He definitely can make all the right throws. He showed out during his pro day, which was something that the Jets really admired as well. I think they're going to align with him. At number 3, though.
Real quick. I haven't really watched a lot of Zach Wilson film. How is he compared to Lance? Is he
I would say he's a little. What they're saying a lot is he's very, very charismatic. I wouldn't say. I say Lawrence is the more pro ready quarterback. Lawrence is the more pro ready quarterback. Wilson is a little bit more of the raw energy quarterback. He can make all the crazy throws. Like he's
I
more
seen
of
some
a
shit earlier. They were saying he a Mahomes comparable.
yeah, Mahomes-esque throws. He's definitely somebody who can hold the ball a little bit longer. The type of throws he's definitely like that. He's had some highlights where you're like, wow, like he has the athleticism to kind of make some plays outside the pocket. He can definitely extend plays a little bit more athletic than what you see from like a Lawrence from the day to day. So I can definitely see him, being charismatic with the New York Jets. If they make a couple more moves, they could definitely be an interesting team. With number 3 though, I'm assuming they're going to pick Matt Jones, but for my sanity, I went with Trey Lance here. I think what they're doing is they follow the Kansas City model, like I mentioned previously. You have a quarterback who can learn under a Jimmy Garoppolo, learn under the Kyle Shanahan system, somebody who can really develop. During his last full season as a starting quarterback, he had less than 5 interceptions, so he can take care of the ball. He's somebody who made audibles on the fly for most of his starting season as well. So he's definitely a smart quarterback, can pick up the reads, somebody who can kind of maneuver a lot. I'm seeing a lot of like a Dak Prescott is what I'm hearing. I compare him a little bit more to like a Colin Kaepernick, a little bit taller quarterback who can kind of break a run if you need him to, but definitely a little bit more physical pound per pound guy. So I think Trey Lance is the pick right there. For the Falcons, I would assume they would try to move out of this pick so they can accumulate more. I think their big need is defensive linemen or offensive tackle. But I think at 4, they're going to go with Kyle Pitts. I think you go with the best player on the board. You pick him up. You add to their offense. I think with Matt Ryan, you have now Julio, you have Calvin Ridley, and you have Kyle Pitts. So even if your defense can't keep up and stop possessions, you have Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones, so you can definitely keep up offensively. So I think Kyle Pitts is the pick there. At 5, I flipped the offensive tackle. I was going back and forth between Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater. Honestly, I think Rashawn Slater is the more versatile offensive lineman, so I'm going with him at 5 to the Bengals. I think with him, you have Jonah Williams on one side, who plays basically tackle. Now with Rashawn Slater, you can have him play tackle, interior guard. I think we're all pretty considered basically that the Bengals definitely need to protect Joe Burrow. I think you have T. Higgins, you have a receiver, you have Joe Mixon coming out of the backfield, you have Tyler Boyd, who's another great receiver, who's kind of like a slot guy. Number 2, you need somebody to protect Joe Burrow. I think Rashawn Slater is probably like one of the can't-miss offensive lineman prospects, has the potential to be like a Quentin Nelson. Number 6, I think we kind of go with this too. I was looking at somebody, maybe an offensive lineman, but I think with Tua right now, you just need to give him some more weapons, see what he's capable of. So I went with Jamar Chase at number 6. I think with that, you have a real solidified number 1. You can put Devontae Parker now at number 2, and they just picked up Will Fuller, who's now able to be more of a slot receiver, which is more of his go-to. And number 7, this is where I would assume there'd be a trade, but just to keep it with the Lions, I went with Michael Parsons here because at the end of the day, like, they don't have any defensive help. I think they haven't had a Pro Bowl caliber defensive player since Ndamukong Suh. I think with Michael Parsons, you have somebody who can solidify your defense, be a leader, be a captain, actually add some flexibility. You know what I'm saying? They lost Kyle Van Noy as well.
The cornerback.
Yeah, they could go with the cornerback too. I was thinking either J.C. Horn or I was thinking Caleb Farley. But I was thinking they need somebody who can get to the quarterback, but also somebody who can, facilitate the defense. They need a voice on their defense. I think they just picked up Jeff Okudah last year. I think just adding some more defensive pieces, younger guys that are flexible. I think he has the capability to be like a Deion Jones, the guy from the Falcons who's a middle linebacker, but not as quick. So, you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm looking right there. Number 8 for the Panthers, they just picked up Sam Darnold. They're likely to pick up that 5th-year option, so they're going to be their quarterback for at least the next 2 to 3 years. I'm thinking Penei Sewell is going to slide there. You get your left tackle, you solidify that. They have a right tackle already in Lawson, who's right there. So you have 2 tackles. You're going to have Christian McCaffrey coming back. So now that you got your tackles solidified, you got your receivers, now you can really see what Darnold's capable of. So I think Penei Sewell for the Panthers is probably like that can't-miss player. And then number 9, the Broncos don't have to move up. They don't have to make any trades. You can pick Justin Fields right here. And I think we were talking about this earlier. You put Justin Fields with those 2 receivers, KJ Hamler, Melvin Gordon out the backfield, Noah Fant as their tight end. If Drew Lock, is Drew Lock and basically messes up during halfway through the season, you put in Justin Fields and you're right there to contend. Another player who can compete with Patrick Mahomes basically for the next 5 to 10 years. So that's definitely something you can look at. And then at number 10, I think the Cowboys are the most interesting team in the league. Like, they're definitely looking at offense. You have to go defense here. I'm going cornerback. I'm thinking the most solidified person right here. I was thinking between Caleb Ferry and Patrick Surtain. I went with Patrick Surtain because I think he's more of the prototypical cornerback. He can play both sides of the field. I think he's more of the zone type. He can play offside of Trey Diggs, who's another great corner that they have. I think you have 2 Alabama guys locking down both sides of the field. Now you got some more versatility, and you can add more flexibility to your defense. So that's my top 10. I just kept it the same, but like Amir was saying with the crazy trades, I'm assuming, Micah, you're going to make some crazy trades too. I know there's definitely going to be some trades in this draft, but just to keep it consistent right now, these are
I was talking about Slay for he was, I think he went to a Pro Bowl for Detroit, because I know you said Pro Bowl talent defensive players, but I ain't mad at that. You think that Fields is gonna drop all the way down to 9 for Denver? I'm gonna start mine off. I don't even know if I should say it, but I'm gonna just say, with the first pick of the 2021 NFL draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select.
Oh,
hey, I think it's that, bro. I think he's that. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft right now. I think Urban Meyer would go with the Ohio State guy. You know, I feel like he'll pull a daisy on us, you know, and just grab the Ohio State guy. You know, and I just like Fields, bro. I think he's better than every quarterback in this draft. So I got him going 1, but this is my personal opinion. So I know with just how all the mock drafts is, he's not going to be 1. Realistically, he's going to be down to like that 6, 7 range, maybe 10. You never know. But I definitely, if it was me picking, I would be picking Fields if I'm Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? But to go to number 2, we got I got Trevor Lawrence going number 2 to New York, and I mean, it's like it's unanimous.
If that happens, we getting season tickets today.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence goes number 2.
If Lawrence goes 2, I'll get a ticket for you. If that happens.
the thing why I put him at 2 is because what he said. Was it this week or the end of last week? I think it was this week, when he was talking about, like, just saying, like, I don't know, if he was to leave football today, he'll be fine. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, damn near be going through some things if you was leaving football right now. If I'm about to draft you as the face of my franchise, you know. So that was one thing that just, like, really took me back. I'm like, yeah, I don't really like that. I could just tell me and his type of personality would mix if I was in the front office or the head coach of a team. But like I said, I would have Trevor Lawrence going second if he's around for the second pick. It's no way you could go past him to get any of the other guys. But for number 3, which I talked about earlier, I was just trying to see, do you dog it out with Garoppolo, or do you get a new quarterback? And I feel like they're gonna get a quarterback. I think they gotta have Zach Wilson right there if he ends up falling that way, just because the cap hit on Garoppolo, the dead cap hit on Garoppolo is pretty much little to nothing. I think it's like $2 million or something, like 1.5 or 2 million. If you choose to end up going with Zach Wilson and like him, like you said, like middle of the season, and you could trade, get rid of Garoppolo. But I think that's their best bet, just because I feel like with all the guys coming back from the injury and stuff, I feel like they'll be pretty much back at the same level that they were at going to the Super Bowl, if not better. But for number 4, and this is where I had a hard time with, and I'm still struggling on it, just because as a front office head, do you keep Matt Ryan who has like a 25-30 million dollar dead cap hit.
35 million.
You know what I'm saying?
35 million cap hit, yeah.
Next year,
Yeah,
50 million on the books.
What'd you say?
Then next year, it's 50 million.
That's what, do you keep that? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you have to keep something like that unless, you know, unless like a miracle happens. So if you're paying him all this money and it's gonna cost a lot towards the cap, so I feel like this is how I felt with my heart, but this is not my pick. But with my heart, I feel like you would draft talent. You know what I'm saying? So I would feel like you go get a Jamar Chase or a Kyle Pitts or something realistically. But I also could see how they feel like, you know what? That next draft, it ain't really gonna be hitting on them with quarterbacks. Do we really want to bet on the draft after that? Because I haven't really been watching a lot of quarterbacks that's can go 2023, but I don't know. I just don't know if the pool of quarterbacks is good like how it is this year. So I feel like they'll go with a Trey Lance, you know, just to have something there and send behind Matt Ryan to get better. And I feel like Atlanta would embrace a guy like that, you know, especially just the city of Atlanta. We Amir, you know. but man,
That's four quarterbacks, man. That'd be the first ever all time. Like 4 quarterbacks taking first 4 picks. Yeah,
I feel like we can see it happen though. You know what I'm saying? Like I really don't see it, but if I'm Atlanta, like I said, realistically, I would go grab some talent. Like, well, not talent because they're all talent, but a weapon, you know, as opposed to grabbing a quarterback. But let me go to 5. I got Penei Sewell. I got him going to Cincinnati just because, and I would. It's nothing more I would love to see rather than Jamar Chase and Burrow back playing again, but just realistically, you're always gonna have receivers and weapons coming in the draft. So it is what it is. You can always grab a guy. Not saying that you can always grab a Jamar Chase, but you're always gonna be able to grab something comparable to that in the draft. So I feel like they got to go with protection for this one, especially coming off the injury that we are. Especially me, I just thought it was a matter of time until it happened last year. And it was like every week they like on sports shows, oh, Burrow, he really holding on to the ball. And it just happened. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's a matter of time. I feel like it was a matter of time until he got injured last season. So now they definitely have to protect their asset moving forward because I feel like, Burrow is the way for them. And for a team like Cincinnati, I hope they come into this draft with the right mindset because it's not going to just take one player and it's not going to be overnight. Y'all were quite honestly shit, you know what I'm saying, before Joe Burrow. So it's going to take time to build that up. I know how you were talking about windows. That window is not open. So for them to win 3 to 5 games or 3 to 6 games this year is a W for them. And it's something to build on. And they're probably going to be up in the top 10 for the next year or probably year and a half. I mean, year to 2 years. But just what it is. You gotta build something out there. Because there's not a lot of free agents that's going, hey, I'm going to go to Cincinnati. That's not happening. So
Exactly.
Let's get into the 6th one. And I feel like we were all universal with this across the board. Jamar Chase, I feel like it's no other way Miami can have it. I feel like that's what they're going to go with. That's going to be great for Tua as well, just to see him out there with another weapon, especially a special weapon like that, to where he's almost going to warrant double team, like damn near from the gate. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Shout out to the black GM and black head coach combo. They're one of the few in the NFL that are like that. So I was watching some stuff and I completely forgot that their GM was black. So yeah. I'm really hoping that they really succeed, even though they're in our division. But I have to do the quick shout out.
Yeah, no doubt. And this is where my trade comes in right here. So we have the Lions with pick number 7. I feel like the Patriots are going to trade up and get in the fun on a QB market. And I feel like they'd be able to draft Mac Jones. I feel like he'd be sitting around. Me personally, if I was picking for these teams, he would be sitting around. Like, he wouldn't be off the board and damn their top 5. No, he'd be sitting around. So I think the Patriots would go for a guy like that. And if they don't, I could see them just, picking up another piece at their pick that they have now and probably testing the market, probably go grabbing Garoppolo again, depending on what turns out to happen there. But that's where I have my trade at. And after that, for pick number 8, Carolina, if he drops down this low, because there's a lot of people that say he's top 6, top 5 pick. I got Kyle Pitts. And I feel like that's just going to be, way better than what Greg Olsen brought to Carolina, especially with those pieces out there. I feel like they'll be setting themselves up for a great future ahead of them if they grab Kyle Pitts right there. And I feel like, I think you said the O-line. I think you said they need to touch on O-line, but I feel like they'll be able to still grab a piece in a piece for the O-line during the draft. Of course, not as good as the person you said, but I feel like they'll be able to grab something. Then for 9, I got Micah Parsons going to Denver just because there's not going to be any quarterbacks left. So you just got to build, keep building on that side of the ball, especially like you all said, with an aging Von Miller coming off an injury. So you just want to keep building on that side to make sure that stays strong. And at 10, I feel like the Cowboys have no choice, bro. You have to go get Patrick Surtain. It's no other choice. You have to do that. Your defense is terrible. You're paying guys astronomical amount of money on both sides of the ball that's not producing. So I feel like you have to go grab a guy like Patrick Surtain who's going to be around and durable for the foreseeable future. Shit, we go live all 3 at the same time.
Well, so. Now,
we may have to hit them with a live draft reaction, man. But other than that, man, I don't have anything else, man. I appreciate both y'all, tremendously. And we're going to be back at it again next week, like I said. Follow TOVSPORTS. They produce this podcast. Shout out to Dave. Make sure you go to AQUANO Hydrate. Follow the sponsor. But other than that, man, we checking in and we checking out. And we're going to be back at y'all next week with some more fire for your head top. Yes, sir. And different fitteds, too.